Hey everybody, what's going on? We are back with our fourth installment for Project Rocky, our 2012 Rockwood camper rehab. It's a beautiful evening and we're going to try and get started replacing our awning canvas. Now, there's a couple of different ways to do this. Lots of different methods online to look at. Some folks, depending if you've got an automatic or electric or manual, a couple of different processes. Currently my helper is out having a girls' evening, so I'm going to try and get it started myself, at least get the old fabric off. And since we have no intention of saving it, I should be able to simply just cut it and remove it. There are up here, both on the roller and the camper side, there should be a couple of screws that hold the fabric in place. And then a couple of screws that hold the roller onto the arms. And then in our model, a couple of rivets that hold the end caps on the roller. Hi, Shopcat. So my plan is to try and get everything at least disassembled. Let's see how that works. I guess some folks say you can use zip ties and hold the arms up in place. Some folks say lay everything down, slice off the old fabric. I'm gonna try and unroll it and set out a couple of tables for the arms to come down on as I cut that fabric and see how that goes. I have no clue. Hello, kitty. Oh, can I pick you up? Hi, kitty. Oops, nope. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and roll out our icky awning. Oops. We have our awning and kind of overhang in the same channel. We'll see what our new fabric is like. It's sitting over here behind the camper. So it may help us at least disassemble things. Not sure about the reassembly. Hey, that's not for you in there. Nope, not for you in there, kitty. All right. Let me grab a step stool or ladder and take a look up here. We've got wiring here, so we don't want to damage that, of course. Well, let's see if there's a plug right up here. There we go, I can unhook that. There should be a couple of bolts right here on either end. And this assembly should pick right up and off the arms. I don't know, we'll figure it out. Alrighty, well, we've got a couple of 11 mil sockets or bolts that go on the end of here. One right here. I'm gonna test it where I can reach it, because if it wants to fall off, then that tells me a little bit about what I've got to do next. Doesn't seem to want to fall right out. I'm guessing it slides out this way. Wander down here for the other one. You know, from past experiences, something tells me this is gonna let loose and go crashing back towards the camper. which I don't want to do. So I'm gonna set these bolts back in, hook up our motor, and retract it first. Okay, we're gonna try this approach. I'm gonna take these bolts back out, see if I can't lift this assembly off, let it roll down, and then once it's on the ground, I can cut the old canvas out. And what I may do, what I might do is try the zip tie method, and that's taking some zip ties around the top pivot point up here, and then around to here, and try and hold those arms in place, because as soon as you take the tension of the awning itself off, those hydraulic, those gas struts are gonna wanna shoot open, and we don't wanna do that. So I'm gonna go find some zip ties and zip tie those things up, and I'll show you. All right, I'll zoom in a little closer here. Basically, I'm taking the zip ties, running them through this bolt, or this hinge point here. Maybe, hopefully. There we go. But I don't know that it's really going to do a whole lot, because there's not much to keep it from sliding down, other than eventually we'll hit a friction point. We'll see how that does. I'm gonna go do the other side here quick. In case you may be wondering why I'm replacing the canopy, you can look up here, see this is all missing. Everything else around here is all brittle and has holes in it, and appears to have been put away wet, or just due to the failure up here. We got mold and mildew all over the unit, so we're just replacing it with something new. All right, so the next thing on my list I'm gonna try is take my pocket knife and slice this old canopy off, and hopefully that doesn't all go and smack me in the head. Man, this stuff is like wrapping paper. Brittle. The fun part's going to be cradling one of these two ends while I take the other off. So for that, I'm going to go find my extension ladder and prop up one end on the ladder so I can take it off the frame and minimize chances of bending anything. Alrighty, I've got my little giant ladder down on the end. Let's see if I can go ahead and lift this off and set it in between the stairs. Almost not even tall enough for this. Whoa! That's what I thought.
That's what I thought.
Well, those zip ties didn't hold. Well, at least it's down. Nothing broke, so I guess that makes taking down this half that much easier. Alrighty, now that we've gotten the awning off without any problem whatsoever, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the rest of the old, broken, damaged fabric. And again, I'm just gonna go and cut this old stuff off because I don't need to deal with it. Alrighty, now our model has 3 rivets on this end cap here. I need to drill those out, and I'm going to actually replace them with just some sheet metal screws, some self-tappers, because A, I don't have pop rivets, and B, if I have to take this off again, it's going to be easier to do with screws versus more pop rivets. So I'm going to go find my drill, and I got to get a marker because I need to mark what sections this came off of. So here's our little flap, and here's the section back here that attaches to the camper itself. That's going to be important for putting everything back on and making sure things are lined up. All right, I drilled out the 3 rivets. I marked a C where the fabric goes onto the camper, and then an F on the front here side where the flap is. And I'm also going to make a mark where the motor hits the frame. So I've got a reference point for that as well. I'm just going to take my hammer and lightly just tap it off. And this here is our drive motor. Oh. Rivets are in the way, but that's okay. I should be able to get this out otherwise. Hopefully it'll pull and slide right out. Yes. We'll see if I can go ahead and push it out. Nope. There we go. There is the old awning removed. Now I've got 2 choices. I could either try to put everything back together and spool it up on the camper and probably make a mess, or I could do it down here on the ground, wrap it up, and then get an assistant or 3 to help guide it back on the track on the camper, and probably make a mess out of that too. Let me get that top rail cleaned out first, get the old fabric out of there, and we'll go from there. Pretty much, again, just pull it out the end. You may or may not have a screw holding it in place up there. If you do, just unscrew it, pull out the old fabric or material, and you're ready to go. Alrighty, well here's our new awning in a box. Probably due to the light disappearing, I'm just going to unroll it somewhere, let it sort of breathe overnight so I can come back tomorrow and get it rolled onto the roller here. We did just get a basic white awning. I'll drop a link below where we got it from. We didn't need anything super heavy duty or color matched or anything like that. Shade Pro. Manual replacement instructions. Well, glad this isn't manual. We have 1 large roll of fabric or canvas. Well, hopefully it fits. It's the right length. Or I hope it is. Yep. It said a 20-foot awning equates to about 19 foot 2 inches. we'll see. Now, the process is when you put this back in, you take some silicone spray, run it down the channels, and that's supposed to help the polycord and the material go in those grooves better. You do that both down here and up top when you slide the whole assembly back onto the camper. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. No, not really. Yeah, I'm gonna lay this out here tonight, just let it air out, and we'll work on putting it back on in the daylight. Okay, so maybe I can't leave well enough alone. Let's, I went ahead and ran some of our silicone lubricant down the channels, and I'm gonna see how much of a mess I can make. Why? Because viewing entertainment, right? In a perfect world, I'd have a nice pristine shop floor to lay this out in. But instead I have a dirt driveway and the old awning material. Now we have our spots marked camper and flap. Our camper and our flap. Now this is going to be the challenging part, is to pull everything over, all the parts. This is where having an assistant or three would come in really handy. So in a nutshell, what we've got is our flap started here and our camper side started here, and we have to equally pull it all the way down that 20-foot tube. And we've got our obstacle here is the height. So I'm going to go try and find a few more of my body panel stands and at least get the fabric up off the ground, give us a little more of a level shot to work with. Had I thought about it sooner, I would have started from the lower end and worked my way up, but hey, that's what it is. Anyways, I'm gonna get that situated and out of the way so we don't run into it in the morning with the cars going to the daycare. And we'll come back when this thing is slid on and we've got some more daylight. Alrighty, it's been a few days. I've got the awning on our roller. I actually finished that up the other night in the dark, and I just wanted to get it done so I could put it away for any inclement weather, in which case it turned out to be sunny and 85 for the 5 days between then and now. Now we need to go ahead and get it up on the camper, and I've got a rather sketchy method of bobcat forks, ladders, Cushmans, to try and get this thing up and on. Now I've already gone ahead and taken our silicone spray and sprayed down that track, and my only real two concerns are, well, one, dropping it, but B, is the arms falling out of place and making a giant mess of things. So likely I will have to go find an assistant, but I may try and, well, I don't really know what else I can do to keep those in place other than zip ties. So I'm going to try and get the awning up on the bobcat forks here off to the side, and then that's got a blanket on it so they don't get dirty, so the top doesn't get dirty. But then I want to just start it in the track and slide it over. And again, like I said, my fear is I'm going to run into issues with these arms getting in the way. Well, it's hidden behind the bobcat arm here, but those arms, the ones that were so much fun last time. So let me go ahead and try and get this thing in position, and I'm probably going to have to call for help. fun. Bonding time. Togetherness.
Don't lean on it for the love of God. Yes, you are.
Okay.
You're trying to kill me.
Okay.
Can't push this forward any further. You got the thing? You got the nut, the bolt.
Alrighty, that went a whole lot easier than I actually expected it to. Having some good help down here certainly doesn't hurt. So now it is up there. What we need to do is take those zip ties off. I may need to pre-tension that end, so it's got some help to wind it back up, we'll see. But also we need to wind it in and out a few times and let that canvas adjust on both the front roller and the track in the back. Then we can take those couple of little screws, put it back in the top track to hold it in place. So I'm gonna go do that and we'll see how it turns out. Alrighty, we are back. It's been, well, took a vacation with the family, so it's been probably a week or so since I've worked on this, a little better than a week. But the good news is we got our canopy set up and properly sprung so it goes both in and out at a decent speed. Now when I took it apart, if you remember that wonderful safe disassembly, the rod or the dowel, whatever you want to call it, thing fell off, and the far end is spring loaded, so I lost the, hello bugs, so I lost the count of how many rotations it should have been, and after doing some searching online I found out for a 20-foot awning between 9 and 13 clockwise rotations. So I stopped counting at 10, put it back together, and now check this out. I probably could have put in another rotation or two, but for the amount of times this is going to go in and out during the year, maybe 3 or 4 times, I think everything is just fine. And that motor, it's, 10 years old, it may be a little weak, and I'm just gonna leave well enough alone because it works. It doesn't slap up, doesn't slap down, and overall it goes pretty good. You can see I got the rest of my exterior lights going, and let's take a quick check inside. So as I've shown before, we got all of our LED relamping completed. We've got one little panel to put back in place. No big deal there. But the big part was back here. This piece of trim was missing from water damage. And I just happened to walk through a local Menards store and found on clearance the same color, ideally, or almost identically, as the existing woodwork. And for the $6 or $7 it was, that's going to be a perfect fit. You can see again, there was a little bit of moisture here at one point in time, and unfortunately it hasn't rained here much the last 2 weeks, and I had a little catch pan just in the event, but it hasn't rained, so who knows. We got our new mattresses in, so those are good, cut to fit for the kiddos. And just hoping everything here stays dry. We got new wood installed here as well, so there's no more mildewy, previously damp underlayment for the bed. That is good to go. Everything else back here is dry as a bone. Again, we haven't had much rain, but we have had some, and hasn't had any more signs of moisture. Again, the bathroom was good. Nothing to see in there. But we did go ahead and order us a mattress, just a standard mattress in a box, foam deal, memory foam, plush top. We ended up going for a full-size queen versus an RV queen because we felt the extra few inches for length was more important than being able to walk around this little spot here anyways. And there was only about 5 or 6 inches to walk through there anyways. With the TV up there, it just was not a practical thing for us. So we chose comfort over what was there originally. So we got a 12-inch plush mattress, so I think that should be great for the time you're sleeping on it. You know, I can pretty much fall asleep anywhere, especially after working, you know, 12, 14-hour days at this show. So, but wanted the wife to be comfortable, so there we are. The last thing I'm waiting on is something for the TV up front. Waiting on a HDMI faceplate so I can hook the Roku up without having a cable hang down. So everything will be tidy and out of the way. And that's going to wrap this up. I don't think I have anything else major to do. We're going to bring it up here this coming week. Well, for me, this coming week. For you, it was a couple of weeks ago. Anyways, we're going to bring it up. Hopefully it makes the journey. Again, tires are from 2019. Those should be no problem. Just towing it up there, getting it situated in its home. Pulling out the old camper and putting this one in will be a challenge of its own. But that's what it is. And that'll give us a chance to see if it rains, if the water stays out of the camper. It sure should for the amount of sealant that I put up on the roof. And let's take a look at that real quick. Also, we did go ahead and replace this outdoor shower hole enclosure. So that is new. Not that we'll ever use it, but it's done. And let me go up top here quick. Not going to get too crazy, but you can see all of our hatches and vents have been resealed with both the rubberized roof coating, and in many places I went along and got a tube of that lap seal or lap seam self-leveling goo and put that up front, especially on that front hatch where there was moisture intrusion at some point in time. And really the last cosmetic issue was this scuff along the side here, and this deal here for the wheel arch cover. I reached out to the Rockwood dealers in my area. Neither of them responded to me inquiring for some parts on this. So if you are a Rockwood dealer or know one, or know where I can find specifically this wheel skirt back here, please let me know. That's the last thing really that I need to do to get this thing back to good condition. I did see, trying to get these scuff marks off. I've also removed 10 years of oxidation. If you can see the shine, maybe you can't. There we go. So I guess I also need to wax the entire camper, or at least use some cutting compound on it and get rid of that oxidation. But otherwise, I think I cleaned up pretty well. Anyways, that's going to wrap this series up. It was not a planned project. It was one of those spur of the moments. We've been looking for something for a couple of years that fit our needs, and here we are. So I've got to get this buttoned up, pulled up north, and I can get back in the shop working on all the projects in there, because it just never ends. So if you've liked this, go ahead, hit that subscribe button below if you haven't yet. Share it out to your friends, get that thumbs up, drop a comment. What do you think about this project? Was it a good deal? I think it was. Anyways, like I said, drop your comments below, like the video, and I will definitely see you real soon in the next one. Bye-bye.